faces. Here is Wavinya Ndeti, all smiles. Jonathan B, I think they call him, is it Koti Moja?
Yeah.
Johnson Sakaja Nairobi, Fatma Achani, Kwale, Ken Lusaka Bungoma, Susan Kihika Nakuru. Speaking of governors in the league of Ken Lusaka, because here I see the Daily Nation tells us that among the county chiefs are 26 first-term governors, 11 incumbents, and 8 making a comeback, including in Baringo County. I think I saw Benjamin Choboy in that report by Leila Mohammed at the start. Is it these 8 who are coming back? Is it a case of no options, or a case of reflecting and thinking that perhaps the devil that was there before is better than the new one?
You know, it does speak a lot to the incumbent. It speaks a lot. Why would, you know, fighting an incumbent is always the hardest thing. But for an electorate to decide, we don't even want to see you try to either rectify whatever issues we have with you as a leader. We don't want that. You just go. Let's go back, you know, where we had started before. It's very telling of that tenure, of that 5-year tenure of that particular governor. And actually, if you look into those counties, you're going to hear a lot of complaints from the people about the leadership of that governor. And more often than not, it is about corruption. You will hear plundered public resources. And you see, the thing that governors need to remember is that Kenyans are becoming a lot more politically aware. We are not where we were 10 years ago. We now are beginning to deeply understand, what is my MCA doing for me? What is my MP doing for me? What is my expectation of my governor? Kenyans are beginning to really understand that issue. And they're going to use, you know, this is why I keep saying, let's celebrate devolution. And let us, you know, guard devolution with everything that we have. Because finally, Kenyans are rising to, you know, to the occasion that this money that is coming down to the counties is our money, and it has to be spent to uplift, you know, our lives. And any governor who is joking with that issue will be going home every 5 years. And we're still going to see a lot of that happening. Anyone who comes into power at the county level and does not demonstrate either transparency in how they do their procurements or, you know, improvement of services to the people, they will not last beyond those first 5 years. And something I wanted to comment about as we see these governors coming into power and assuming office, we know the biggest challenge, one of the biggest challenges they're assuming is pending bills. You know, pending bills are over 120 billion as we speak in the counties. Some a lot more than others. I know, like the county government of Makueni, Governor-elect Mutula is inheriting not even 7 million in terms of pending bills, which is one of the lower counties. Some, like Machakos, are so much higher. I think Machakos is at, if I'm not wrong, almost 3 billion. Others are at 5 billion. Nairobi is 84 billion.
Mombasa was about 4 billion.
Yes. So imagine you're starting your tenure with pending bills. And you know, this question of pending bills is the same thing like on a national level, where we have a country that is laden with pending bills and loans. And you're wondering how are we going to, you know, improve our economy? These governors really have a task at their hands. And like I think Irene has said, on-source revenue is a big area where many of our counties have not been able to improve on their revenue, what do you call it, collection of on-source revenue. So these governors have such a big task when it comes to dealing with this issue of pending bills. And one other challenge I know that county governments have had, and we've discussed this severally in several forums, is the problem of borrowing. You know, there's no framework for counties to be able to borrow. Now we know that the budgets they get, as much as it's a lot of money, and it sounds a lot of money, the 9 billion and the 19 billion that comes to Nairobi and all the others that go to the counties, we know most of that money goes back to recurrent budgets. And in fact, governors have a challenge with their executives in trying to balance what then goes to development and how much goes to recurrent budgets. And many counties are still at 60-40. 60% of the revenue goes to recurrent and 40% goes to development. And many of them can't even hit that 40%. They're still like at 30% development agenda. And imagine with that delicate balance, you have pending bills that you are inheriting now to add on to it. Then we have serious, I think, restrictions on public-private partnerships for the counties, something that the law really needs to look into, to find methods of making it easier for governors to be able to find partners, even if it is globally, to come and help with service delivery on certain things. So that there are certain things that these governors now will have to push, being now the next, almost like a next generation set of governors, or we can just say the next level of devolution. We have to see certain things now also being corrected. We have to look to laws that now are helping county governments with their own source revenue, so we can open up their markets as well, so that we can have a lot more happening in the local economy. And we just don't rely on the equitable share that then goes 60% to recurrent and 40%. And that's in a county that has really tried, where 40% actually goes to development. And that development has to be spread across the counties equitably. So then you find then what ends up is a little here, a little development here, a little development here, rather than having major development of great impact. So you find that is what's happening. And then the other thing I will really want to see of our governors is civic education. They have to participate in making sure our electorate is more educated civically as we go on. I think one of the things that we've said, I don't know whether it's on this platform and before the election, we did say that civic education was very poorly conducted and very little of it done in the last 5 years. And this has to be a continuous process. The former governor of Makueni did a fantastic job in civic education. In fact, you will hear that the models for public participation in Makueni are amongst the best. And in fact, at one time, they were benchmarking, other governors were coming to benchmark in Makueni on public participation, which is very critical. And our constitution envisions a situation where the public, everybody, every Kenyan participates in any budget that is being created. So budget making at the counties starts at the ward level. And Kenyans are encouraged. In fact, governors usually call for these public sittings where people come and they participate in the budget making process. And you see, unless public is constantly being educated on these things, and especially our young people, because there seems to be a serious gap in civic education, probably in the last 10 years, the next set of governors have to spearhead civic education so that we can see a more participatory electorate, more participatory, citizenry, and that is the way we are really going to tighten all our, issues when it comes to how to monitor and how to check on how public expenditure is happening. So all these form part of the expectations that we have for the next governors.
Okay.